Hey Book Dragons, welcome back to my channel. Glad you could be here with me. Today we're going to talk about books that made me cry. Let's go. Thank you to my patrons. I really appreciate all you do to support the channel. So anybody who knows me well will tell you that I am very in touch with my emotions. If you sit me down for a movie and it has really touching happy moments or sad moments, I am probably going to be sitting there crying and everybody is going to be looking at me wondering what's wrong with Chaz. Am I okay? Am I doing okay? Do I need a tissue? And that's what I'm going to talk about today. These are going to be my Tissuebox reads. So I've got 5 books here that I'm going to talk about, and let's get right to it. Before we do that, make sure you are liking this video if you enjoy it. Make sure you subscribe to my channel if you enjoy my content. And support me on Patreon if you'd like to as well. That'd be super cool. No pressure though, okay? Let's get right to my Tissuebox reads. And these are in no particular order. I haven't ranked them really. But we're going to start with The House in the Cerulean Sea. I read this last year, toward the end of the year, and absolutely loved it. It is such an adorable book, such a heartwarming story, and there were several times that I found myself crying just because of maybe the pain that a certain character was going through, or somebody that really couldn't tell another person how they truly felt, and just the interactions with the kids at the orphanage and how close they grew to their social worker, and the interactions between 2 of the characters who are falling in love. And it's a male-male romance, and it's really cool. It's just so heartwarming, and I found myself tearing up several times. I just couldn't help it. The next book on this list is Hyperion. Now this is a science fiction novel by Dan Simmons, and it is formatted around a Canterbury-style character development. And so throughout the book, you're getting a window into each of the different characters who are on a voyage to meet with this mysterious being known as the Shrike and to request a boon from the Shrike. So throughout all these stories, you're getting a larger plot unfolding, but some of the stories are just heart-wrenching, especially the scholar's tale. His name is Saul, and something happens to his daughter in the course of the story that affects her for the rest of the book, and even into Fall of Hyperion, which, to be honest with you guys, they should be read together. But the entire Hyperion duology, The Scholar's Tale, just had me weeping. You know, being a dad, yeah, see, I'm thinking about it and I'm starting to tear up again. Being a dad, The Scholar's Tale is especially emotional for me. Seeing this man and the love he has for his daughter and what she's going through, and I won't go into too many details because of spoilers, but just be prepared. If you are easily brought to tears and you read The Scholar's Tale, you are going to need a tissue box nearby, because it is that emotionally wrenching. So let's move on to the third one, and that would be The Return of the King by J.R.R. Tolkien. This is section 3 of The Lord of the Rings, or the third book in the Lord of the Rings trilogy if you look at it as a trilogy. I don't, just a side note, but hey, we won't go there. That's not what this video is about. There were several points in this story that had me in tears, but the final ending of the book, I was just gut punched in a good way. It's a happy ending and also a very sad ending, because of the way that people have to part ways, and everybody kind of gets a different ending to their story, and some of them are very, very happy endings. Some of them are very bittersweet. I can't tell you guys. I was, that one in particular was a 5 tissue box read. Should I rate this based on the number of tissue boxes it takes to get through the story? Lord of the Rings would be a 5 tissue box read. But yes, the ending of The Return of the King was just so moving that I never found anything to quite equal it. Number 4 is The Winter of the Witch, final book in the Winter Night trilogy by Catherine Arden. This is just an absolutely brilliant series. I highly recommend it. The ending of Vassia's tale was just so powerful. To see the way things ended for her, to see everything wrapped up so neatly, and things that you wanted to happen happened for the most part, not always, and it was a very bittersweet ending in some ways to the series. So yes, this was definitely a series as a whole that had me in tears several times, but especially the final ending of the trilogy. I find that I definitely get that way with final books in a series, because you followed these characters for so long and been so wrapped up in their lives. At least I get very wrapped up in the characters' lives. I mean, they feel like real people. That's how invested I get in the characters. And so to see that journey come to an end was just magnificent. But oh man, I was grabbing those tissues. It was, whew, yeah, it was rough. And then the final book on this list is called The Untethered Soul by Dr. Michael Singer. And this is a nonfiction book. It's more of a spiritual book. This book was deeply meaningful to me in so many ways, but one section in particular spoke so deeply to me in terms of my experience of human life and my personality and the way I interact with the world, that I have never had a good grip on since the time I was a little kid. I won't go into too many details because it's very personal for me, but I think that anyone could gain so much from reading The Untethered Soul. It's just a remarkable book. I'm planning on rereading it at some point, and I know I'm gonna break down in tears when I get to that section again, just because it so fundamentally changed the way that I understood myself and my experience. It was just so freeing and powerful for me. So The Untethered Soul is the last one on this list that I wanted to talk about. That was definitely a tissue box read for me. Let me know in the comments if there are books that have affected you deeply in this way. And maybe you're not a person who's prone to breaking down into tears. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just, everybody's a little bit different that way. But are there books that have really impacted you in a deep emotional way, whether it brought you to tears or not? Let me know what those books are in the comments. I would love to hear your thoughts on them. Maybe it would be something that I could add to my list that I've never read before. Yeah, let me know in the comments. I'd love to interact with you and talk about those. That's all I have for this video today, guys. But make sure that you are reading more books, and I will talk to you soon.